are your 4 tests, if you don't mind my asking?
Internal consistency, literary style, archaeological evidence, and manuscript evidence.
Could you explain literary style?
You bet. Once upon a time in the land of Nod, Wynken, Blynken, and Odd took a boat ride. That's fairy tale. At this time, in this place, with these people around, Jesus said this, he did that. Reads like the New York Times. It's eyewitness reportage. Luke chapter 4 used to put me sound asleep until I began to be concerned about this very issue of historical reliability. Luke chapter 3, excuse me. Forgot my good sleeping medicine here. In the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, when Pontius Pilate was governor of Judea, Herod tetrarch of Galilee, his brother Philip tetrarch of Iturea and Trachonitis, and Lysanias tetrarch of Abilene, during the high priesthood of Annas and Caiaphas, the word of God came to John, son of Zechariah, in the desert. Now, to be honest with you, I could care less about who was tetrarch and all the others. And yet, when you take what Luke writes there in Luke chapter 3 and compare it to the Roman record, what becomes apparent is the guy was a meticulous historian. He had his details right.
Okay, if you were to take off the word of God came to X
Yes.
and replace it with whatever else, would you still be inclined to believe it simply because the historical record was consistent? By that I mean specifically the time frame, the names given of the Roman tetrarchs and such. Would you be inclined to believe it?
Well, when after comparing it to the Roman records and seeing that they were right in line, I would say yes, the text is accurate.
Well, what if he said the word of God came to somebody else instead of John?
You know?
Would you believe that?
Well, I would
Let's
read
say
the
it
whole
came to somebody
document.
named Chris.
I would read the whole document, and if it is internally consistent, and if the literary style is historical narrative, and if the archaeological evidence is reliable, and if the manuscript evidence is solid, I'd accept it as historically reliable.